overpay for something, and you get a little criticism for overpaying for something, and then you want to make sure everybody knows, hey, it's you look what happened everywhere else. We got quite a deal on this this used car. I mean, a lot of people are paying a lot more. Well, that doesn't mean you should have paid what you paid for the used car, right? In the NFL or in the NBA, it's a salary cap sport. Everything is a value proposition. Everything. There is no money to waste. None. You have to pay just the right people. You pay your quarterback. You pay a star receiver. You pay a dominant defensive lineman. You pay a top corner. That's what you pay. You may even pay a second receiver. Can't be paying guards a fortune, linebackers a fortune, safeties a fortune, Seahawks. So Jerry Jones overpaid for Dak Prescott. And he is telling you he feels lucky in the deal he got.
When I look at what has happened since we've done the contract, look, I'm proud that we have it. Deshaun's contract was a big one. It just reinforces. It just takes one or two teams to really covet a player, and they really get those numbers on up there.
Dak currently makes the same as Matt Stafford and more than Russell Wilson or Tom Brady. It's not a good contract, and we're seeing the effects of it. They couldn't keep Amari Cooper. Dak's not the same quarterback without him, and they couldn't keep right tackle Lyle Collins. So the Cowboys now have to draft a tackle, maybe two. For the record, here's the other danger. Dak's only under contract for 2 more years. So he'll be 31 at the end of this contract. He's going to soak you again. The downside to overpaying for anything is that when you start to renegotiate the next contract, the starting point is going to be the last year of the previous contract. So the last year of Dak's contract as a Cowboy is $52 million. Bruh, think he's taking a pay cut? That will be the starting point for the next contract. They don't go backwards. Quarterback salaries don't go backwards. If you paid him what you should have paid him, the starting point would be $36 million, $34 million. The starting point for the next contract with Dak is $52 million. And don't listen to all these people. Well, the gambling money's coming in, the salary cap goes up. Yeah, about $10 million a year. There's never a time to overpay in a salary cap league. You can just keep kicking this thing down the road. You will pay for it. And I'll give you an example of this. Let's say the Cowboys in 2 years said, we got to get out of this thing. $52 million a year is our starting point. We're out. Yeah, well, you'll have to pay the following year with Dak off your roster, $22 million cap hit. He won't even be there. So you can just keep kicking the can down the road. Eventually, you see these reverse mortgages on television all the time. These actors, reverse mortgages. Look into those. Grandma's going to have to pay for that house eventually, or her kids are. So you can say what you want about this, but it does ensure this. I will tell you that the one good thing that could, because of Dak's contract, here's the one good thing. You got to make it work. And Mike McCarthy is going to get blamed when it doesn't. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. And they're going to hire Sean Payton. Because to make this contract work, or at least be doesn't give you stomach cramps, you've got to find the best offensive coach in the world to get the most out of Dak. Make him at least B+, A-. That's Sean Payton. He'll be on the market. You don't have to hire a coordinator. He has a house in Dallas. So when I look at Dak's contract, my take is you're already seeing the effects of it. You overpaid for him. You paid him an A+ contract, and he's a B+ quarterback to a B quarterback. He really depends on Tyron Smith, Amari Cooper, great protection, big 100+ yards rushing. But it will get Mike McCarthy whacked. And you're going to have to go in the market and say, as Jerry gets older, I'm not going to roll the dice on a coordinator. I got to get a guy that can coach. Sean Payton is going to be the next Cowboy coach. My guess in 1 year. From now, he'll be the Cowboys coach. Because somebody's got to make this contract work. And Sean is good enough and brilliant enough where he would get the most out of that contract. But you're trapped on that thing. You can kick that thing down the road all you want. You're trapped. Your starting point for Dak's next contract, starting point is $52 million. Yeah. I don't care how much the cap goes up. That's a lot. That's over Aaron Rodgers right now. And I know it'll go up. Not going to go up that much. That $52 million starting point, you're going to be like, easy breezy. Easy peasy breezy. No problem. 50, let's go to 58. We're fine. It's a lot of money. Lance Zierlein works at NFL.com. Covered the draft for over 20 years. Dad was a coach. He has written over 4,000 scouting profiles in 20 years. 8 years at NFL.com as a draft analyst. Our draft is 2 weeks away.
In the first round of the draft, it's not one of the more star-studded drafts that we've seen.
Yeah.
But apparently that might not stop Jerry Jones from trying to move up if there's someone that Dallas really wanted to get.
I would trade up this draft and just going in as much as you can say about it until you see what's there, who's on the other line. But, yeah, I would trade up to, since we're down as low as we are in those first 2 or 3 rounds, if we had a chance to and somebody that we had really coveted was sitting at the bottom, we were able to trade up and get him.
By the way, they need a tackle. They need another receiver.
They have 9 picks in the draft, one pick in each of the first 4 rounds.
I'm for this. If you told me they landed one of the top 4 tackles, because Lyle Collins is gone and Tyron Smith, so they have to get a tackle. And there's like 4 great ones and then another 4 or 5 solid ones. If you told me they moved up to get a tackle and a receiver, and this is a good draft for tackles and receivers, and instead of 9 picks, they got 5, I'd be like, because we know the roster's fine, but it's an offensive league. We don't trust McCarthy. They cannot be below average at tackle. And right now...
No, they have to have a great...
Yeah.
The way that this team is set up, they have to have a great offense. Good to great offensive line to even be competitive.
Yeah, so I have no...
Do you like Jerry saying this, though?
Yeah, what he's saying is I'm open for business. Most people in this draft, Joy, are moving backwards.
Yeah.
Jerry's saying, I'll go up. I don't think... Again, the New Orleans Saints, people are banging on the Saints for the Philadelphia deal, but what they need is a wide receiver and a tackle like Dallas. So the needs for the Saints and the Cowboys are the same thing, and both are saying there's some good premium stuff up there.
Right, this is the draft to do that.
It's probably gone by the 17th, 18th pick. So, again, I don't think it's a great draft.
I think this will be a very interesting scout draft. And listen, I do not envy scouts. I find it fascinating that you have to risk your name predicting what a young kid coming out of college is going to do at the next level. But because we're banging so much on how this is not a high level talent draft and there's no real stars and it's good to not great, I do wonder how we're going to look back on this draft in about 3 years and see if we were all right about that.
Listen, I like the process and the architecture of a draft. I don't care about the players. But the players notwithstanding, I like the draft because I like watching teams try to fill holes and spaces, and I think it's a blast.
I also love seeing, I was watching, who was it, Juju Smith-Schuster when he got the call from the Steelers. Like, I love watching draft day, like the moments with the families and stuff. That's why the draft, obviously we're not going back to this, but when everyone had to have their home cams was so cool because you don't get to see all of them because some of them are at draft day, which is going to be a scene in Vegas, by the way.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
None of the bowl. Just because of what I do for a living, I have to negotiate contracts every few years. Okay, and when you negotiate a contract, and many of you have done this, some will do it, some won't do it. It's fine. I don't love doing it. I have to hire a representative. I don't want to go, face to face with my bosses and puncture our relationship, right? So when you go into a contract negotiation, this is pretty obvious, but I'm just going to lay it out for you. You get some stuff and you don't get stuff. Nobody gets everything. Tom Brady didn't get everything. You don't get everything. And so it's very important. There's only 8 players in the league that have a no-trade clause, meaning you can't send them to a crappy team. Russell Wilson had one. Mahomes has one. And now Derek Carr has one. And it's important to note that Derek Carr, Mahomes, took less money. Russell Wilson could make more money. But they're not just about money. They like money. I like money. You like money. We all like money. But those quarterbacks said, I'll take a little less money, but you're not sending me to a crappy team. I want to win games. So I'll take a little less money. I'll get better teammates, and you can't trade me to a crappy team. Aaron Rodgers said, I don't need a no-trade clause. Just give me the most money you can. Isn't that interesting? He signed that contract with Green Bay knowing, we know this now, knowing Davante Adams was leaving. Still signed it. Knowing it would make the Green Bay front office trapped. Not a lot of flexibility with his deal to get star receivers. That's when they're not bidding on anybody. Aaron didn't care. Give me the most money. I want to be the highest paid guy. He has every right to do that. But Derek Carr signed a contract yesterday. It's like Patrick Mahomes. It's like Russell Wilson. It's not all the money he could have gotten, and it has a no-trade clause. You can't ship me off to a lousy franchise. I'm not going to allow that. I want to go to a winner because I'm about winning. Here's Derek Carr.
Everyone looks at like certain numbers and they're going to say, oh, well, you know, they're not going to get the whole picture of how it's structured and how we did things. So we made sure, you know, guys like Chandler, guys like Davante,